Well, I chose Paul because I met him a few times on networking online, a couple of groups we were part of. And he always struck me as I always listened to every time he spoke. It was just something about you, Paul, that the way you presented yourself, the way you talked, and you always had something insightful to say about whoever's situation it was. You always brought something to the group, to the discussion on that day. And it struck me quite early on that I listened to what you said and listened to what you'd done, and heard so many people talk about what they got through working with you that I knew we had to have a chat and then see if we could do something together, because I knew it would benefit me. And I also like the way that you said you always learn from the people you work with as well. The key challenges initially from working with Paul that I had to address were working out what my niche was, working who my clients were. And after talking through things for probably about half an hour and working things out, we both realized and worked it out that I have two sets of clients really: my tenants, which are now contract holders, and our investors. So it was really niching down as to who my clients were. I think it springboarded so many new things into the way I operate the business, the way I think about it, the way I plan stuff, to really sort of focus in on an actual niche that, because what I thought we were doing was just quite a generic thing, but we niche down onto the reason why we do what we do, and why we want to help the people that live in our houses, because we want to improve their quality of life. And it's little things like that once we started drilling down into the details, our reasons why we do what we do came to the front, really. I would say we're a hugely niche business now. There's not a day goes by or any meeting I do or any decision we have to make with the business that we don't think the way Paul has taught us how to think. My micro manage everything. I go into small detail in everything we do now with the business. So we are hugely niched from where we were even before we met Paul. I couldn't recommend Paul highly enough. It's not just his business knowledge and the way he can niche your business and get to you to understand exactly what it is that what makes your business tick and what you want to get out of this business. It's also the way it's a personal approach as well. He looks at the person, he works with the person, not just the business. And I can honestly say I've grown as a person as well as a business owner since knowing Paul and working with him. Favorite part was Paul's brutal honesty. Probably wasn't my favorite part at the time, but I knew I had to raise my game. And I knew there were things I had to follow up on every week and every 2 weeks when we had our calls. And I knew if I hadn't made any progress, or I'd actually knuckled down and done what we discussed, then he would tell me. And I needed someone like that. I work better with people who are frank and open and honest. And I think you grow from that. 100%. Everything I did with Paul has made me meet all the objectives we put down. It's changed our approach to how we operate. It's given us an even deeper feeling of what we are doing is the right thing to do, from a moral point of view and from a business point of view. So yeah, it's been one of the best things I've done to grow the business and myself. Totally. It's made us focus on what the business will be and how it will progress. It's given us, I didn't even know of exit plans before I spoke to Paul, but we talked about various methods on what we can do for our 5-year plan and where we see ourselves. And it's also just grown the business from connections and getting us out there to talk to people and get our story known and heard out there as well. So yes, it's been a hugely successful period of time. Initially, from working with Paul, it was a successful portfolio growing business. Those properties are continuing to be added to the portfolio. We are taking on more investors that are listening to why we are doing what we do. They buy into our methodology and our reason for looking after the people we're housing. So I would say at least 20-30% more growth due to Paul's work with us.